Alrighty, last week of August, about 10 o'clock in the morning. It's pretty windy. I apologize in advance if the audio is crap, but I figured we'd just do a quick garden update. So, that's one of the blackberries we had planted. That was about 3 or 4 inches tall when we planted it. That was a little over a month ago. There's another variety of raspberry. All this stuff over here is volunteer raspberry. It just popped up. Raspberry or blackberry, not quite sure. That's another one that we had planted. That's another one over there that we had planted. And then there's blueberries popping up over here too, wild ones. Those are the commercial blueberries in that bed. Well, we'll just kind of skip over the whole flower garden with the elderberries and blueberries and strawberries. We'll do another one on that later. And the Juneberries and honeyberries. Grapes are taking off well. I haven't staked them yet to start training them, but we'll do that before the first frost. And this is orange balm, an herb. And these are our ducks that are less than a month old. And they are scaredy cats. But we got them, they were about the size of a medium fist, and now they're football size. Just about 3.5 weeks. It's kind of crazy. More grapes. Pear, maybe a pear, not quite sure. Could be a peach, I forget. But sunflowers, they are, this one is probably about 7 feet. And it's just getting its head on it now. The rest of these are all 9, 10, 11 feet. Excuse me. And again, last week of August, so they should be, we did start them a little late, so I'm just hoping they get nice healthy heads on them and mature before the before they stop growing, before the frost comes. The tomatoes are just out of control. They're just starting to get some of them that are ripened. I think we've gotten maybe a half dozen or so ones ripe off the vine, and we've got another dozen or so that we just pick them and let them ripen. But they are everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. And I mean, there's got to be 200, 250, maybe 300 tomatoes on here. I mean, here's one just laying on the ground. I actually had to take the lawnmower down this path between the cabbage and the tomato bed. We've still got 5 heads of cabbage going. The potatoes in the middle, which I think we're going to harvest this bed of potatoes and this cabbage next week. Put that tomato in my pocket. This is the crazy monster pumpkin plant. This guy is now well beyond basketball size and approaching beach ball size. And this one is beyond volleyball size and approaching basketball size. There's a couple other smaller ones down on that side. There's more cabbage, more cabbage. The asparagus, in the beginning of the season, I thought I did something wrong or bought defective or old or dead asparagus. Has actually turned out incredible. I mean, it's late August and we're still getting new spears popping up. And this is the marigold, which is actually, I've never seen anything like it. It's the bushiest, it's like you could plant this as a hedge. It's the craziest marigold I've ever seen. Usually you buy them, you plant them in the ground, they stay the same size, they get pretty, and then the flowers die. These things just multiplied and went nuts. Strawberry activity has kind of slowed down the last couple weeks. We've had some really hot days and then some really wet days. And when it's really hot and they don't get watered, it stunts them up pretty good. And then when they get ripe, they're tiny and misshaped. These are the ground cherries or Cape gooseberries. They are so cool. And their little pouches are still fairly green. But once they start to get papery, like that old school yellowish math paper, and that means they're ripe inside. But yeah, they are pretty cool. And in the middle, there's 3 Brussels sprout plants, which I've honestly just been completely ignoring because I realize with them being all choked out from light from all the plants around them, they probably aren't gonna give us any fruit this year. Or any year, because they'll be dead soon. But the spaghetti squash, going crazy. There's one there, there's one there. There's one there, there's one there. There's a little guy over there. Another one there. And they're pretty good size. I mean, that's next to a size 10.5. And another one, and another one, and another one. And a little guy, and a big guy, and another big guy, and another big guy. And there's a late cauliflower just starting off. Some more spaghetti squash. Cauliflower that's just finished up. More spaghetti squash. There's a big one. That cauliflower we already harvested. This one I don't remember. No, that's a brand new one too. I will admit, I don't know if cauliflower grows back if you harvest the head. Maybe those other ones, because we have harvested a couple, but I didn't take the plants down. Hey, little bunnies. Not so little anymore. Amaranth's going crazy. These cherry tomato plants were extras that somebody didn't have room to plant, so they gave them to us. So these got planted late. We just let them trellis this thing. They are all starting to do their thing now too. Actually, I probably gotta tie this guy up. Yeah. Cuckoo melons. You can never find them when you're looking for them, but these are the coolest little things. And they're everywhere. They're just hard to get on camera. There's one. There's one. There's one. There's one. Yeah, little mini watermelons. And they're kind of like cucumber texture, cucumber flesh, same type of cucumber type skin. And it's like a citrusy cucumber. It's kind of like a lemon lime mix. It's like a very citrusy cucumber. Little sweet, little acidic, but delicious. And there's, I don't know, if I had to guess, probably 4 or 5, well, at least 4 quart-sized containers. So I don't know what that translates to into pounds, but we haven't gone crazy picking these yet. Most of our stuff we've been just daily walking around the yard picking it and eating it. And these we actually kind of want to have a bunch of them at one time, so we've been refraining from just eating these off the vine daily. And we just picked a bunch of cucumbers yesterday, but we still got cucumber flowers. More cucumbers. They're a little curly and weird because of the intermittent rain. I really haven't. Ooh, look at this one. It's got a double head on it. When that one grows, it'll be a funky looking cucumber. And some more beefsteaks in a bucket. So we've harvested this cherry tomato plant up to about halfway, and it's still putting vines of tomatoes all the way up to the top, and that's well over 8 feet. If I had more vertical room, this thing probably would have been 12 or 13 feet. And then it started resprouting second suckers down the bottom. So we're now getting a second harvest down the bottom of the plant. I mean, this was, all these branches were trimmed off. So you can see where we trimmed the sucker off, and that was the main branch. This is a new sucker that after it reached the top and couldn't go any taller, it started throwing side shoots out from the bottom up, which is kind of cool. These are the yellow pears. Same thing with this one. This one was planted a couple weeks later, so it's just now getting to the top. But it's so late in the season that I just decided to stop trimming the suckers off this one after it got to the top. I'm just trying to get as much fruit out of it as we can. And then this guy, I think these are the pink bumblebees, has been the slowest growing, but it still had decent production. And we do have, finally, we noticed the other day that we finally do have one mini patio eggplant. And the plant was supposed to do more than that, but I think the vendor that we got it from, I think the plant's growth was stunted before we got it. The lettuce bed is pretty much done. A lot of the lettuce is bolted and gone to seed and is bitter. The butter crunch lettuce is still really good over on the end. And the arugula is still good, if you don't mind leaves that have bug bites in them. And the carrots are everywhere, but I haven't pulled up all the lettuce. That isn't viable anymore because I'm still using it as ground cover to keep the soil growing. Oh, not growing, keep the soil from drying out. And some of these are really little, and I don't want to keep pulling them up. But there's some pretty decent sized ones in here too. And I haven't pulled any out that are 8, 9, 10 inches, but we've got some that are 6 or 7 inches. So much better than store-bought carrots. They don't even taste like the same thing. Well, that was yesterday's harvest. Big cucumber, a couple of green zooks, a bunch of yellow zooks, some tomatoes. And that's it for today.